So an interesting topic that I wanted to talk about today. I mentioned before how I help run other people's companies. I'm a management consultant, so people hire me to do that. But also I'm 40 now, so I've been in the proper career world for 20 plus years now. And I just wanted to share some of my own personal experience on a hot topic that a lot of people have. In theory, a lot of people go through it. And essentially it's, when do you switch jobs? Because the funny thing about careers, also kind of true about business, there isn't necessarily a set rule book on what you should do, what you shouldn't do, how it works, what you experience. But then also, because your own personal lived experience will be different in different employers, it's really hard to kind of share best practice about what you should or shouldn't do. So I thought it could actually be an interesting topic to talk about as someone that's worked in lots of different companies, but also ran different companies, that actually from both sides, both if you're the boss and one of your team says that they want to leave, but also if you are in your career and you're looking for a change or you're not quite happy, it was something that I just wanted to kind of talk about. I thought it might have been quite interesting. So the reason why most people leave jobs or consider leaving jobs is because they're unhappy. For me, in careers, this comes in three main forms. There will be others, but it was just, I wanted to pick three, and luckily they're all P's. So one is progression. So when you start your career, not everyone, but certainly for me, I wanted to progress, I wanted to grow, I wanted to learn, wanted to develop and almost progress as quick as I could to get to the top jobs and almost get career ambition. If you don't get career progression, it can easily become a source of frustration if you think people don't care about you, that they don't care about your career progression, and there's just no ladder, there's nothing you can see for the future that makes you think, am I trapped? And you start to look around for that next move, that next step up. That's mega common. As an employer, one of the things that I think is really important is just spend a bit of time actually doing one-to-ones, actually get to know your team and hopefully build a relationship with them, where the more you understand about their aims, goals and ambitions, the people's ambition will not change whether you do or don't ask about it. I've certainly seen it in the past where actually if people kind of ignore or they don't acknowledge your ambition, the ambition doesn't die. It just means that they're more likely to leave without ever voicing the issue. Because actually if you are the employer and you can show someone the ladder that they can climb and what they need to do to get to each different step and just involve them in the process, you can actually help tackle people's uncertainty about progression. Therefore you keep them hopefully more engaged in the organization. And what we're kind of talking about here is that maybe half an hour once a month, just have a chat with your team can go a long way. That actually, when I've recruited people in the past, that takes months and months of time and interviews and people let you down and all this kind of different stuff. And the funny thing is that it's so much more efficient use of your time to actually just speak to your team, see if they're happy, see if there's anything you can do to help, and actually allay people's fears about different stuff. And that's actually cheaper and better than ignoring the problem. People leave and then you have to backfill. So progression is a big one. Pay is next. So if you're in your career, pay is obviously really important. We all have costs. A lot of us have kids and overheads and things that we need to pay for. And then also you have that, but you also have where you perceive your market value and worth in the market. So you might see, and especially with inflation, we've seen a dramatic price rise or a price war in salaries in the past kind of 2-3 years. And there's always a tricky balance between, you might think that if you switch from company A to company B, you can get a pay rise, or vice versa. And so people jump all the time. But actually there's a flip side to it, is that as the employer, a lot of employers, and I'm from an engineering manufacturing background, you can only afford so much. There will be industries like tech that can maybe afford massive salaries, but my background in manufacturing and engineering, not every company makes a profit. So you're often caught in a really difficult position where you want to give pay rises and progression and stuff, but it's really difficult because then you're putting the whole organization at risk if you do. And I think what's really interesting is that a lot of people have the discussion about the topic. You either want to earn or learn. So if you're learning a new role, you're looking to progress, you're learning your craft, you're learning an industry, it's kind of okay to get paid a bit less because you're still progressing. Or if you've kind of plateaued, you're not developing in your career, maybe you don't want to, but you kind of, I don't want to use the word trapped, but in that instance, it's okay to kind of just chase the money, because actually, why not? If you're happy at that level and you're not looking to keep learning new skills, that kind of works. The dream role is where you learn and earn, so you have the ability to learn new skills, learn that progression, learn the ropes to climb the ladder, and you get paid at the same time. But it was just something that I wanted to kind of explain. From a management point of view, going back to the one-to-ones, people, again, will still want the pay rise. Of course they will. But at least if you can explain how and why, where the company's at, what you're looking to do, how you're looking to help the team, and actually just that transparency on the business, hopefully at least they're more understanding of the challenges around pay, that it's hard one to fix. I'm sure if the company can see your value and they know that you're unhappy or that they want to reward good performance, they absolutely will. But it's a really tricky one that I wanted to share both sides, that in some instance, people will want to actually give the pay rise and help, support you more. They might just not be able to. And that's almost where the communication really kind of comes in. And then last but not least is the third P. So we've had progression, we've had pay, and the last one is politics. So politics is all to do when someone doesn't like you, maybe you feel treated badly, there's disruption in the office, maybe there's rumours of they're shutting your factory, etc. All of those things are completely valid. As a manager, it's really important to get a hold and address any kind of political issues. And actually, it's so much better that the leadership of a business talks about an issue to say, look, we know there's rumours about this, but don't worry about it, we're doing this or whichever. But the idea is, if there is politics can be like poison to an organization, where essentially you want to have control of it as the leadership, control the message, but actually have a plan about what you do next. But the truth is, if you feel that your manager doesn't respect you, that you don't get any potential, they don't like you or whichever, in my mind, you're absolutely 100% within your right to look for somewhere else that does respect your time, respects your skill set, it might be close to home, etc. The one thing and the one caveat that I would throw into this is that people always think that the grass is greener. I've worked in probably 10 plus different companies now, and you always think where I am is terrible, but everywhere else looks great. So if I switch to company X, oh, I'll get paid more and there'll be no politics and all this stuff. And the truth is there will. There is in almost every kind of company. And it's that relationship where if something is just awful, and I've been in jobs in the past where I hated it and I just wanted to leave, and that was the right thing to do. But the point is, don't immediately jump, because again, when I interview people on some people's CVs, they switch jobs every 6 months. And that, essentially you can probably get away with it twice. But if you see a common trend where people leave jobs after 6 to 8 months, it raises a red flag as the employer, because you think that they're just going to do the same to you. And essentially, if you're recruiting for roles, you want stability. You want someone to join the team and stay for a fairly long time. And actually, you can, if you hop too much, it's seen as a negative. And then flip side as well, with inflation of cost of living, there will also be companies, I think UPS is a famous one. So salaries for UPS in America have gone through the roof, and it was part of a union kind of decision. But there is also a level of where if people just recruit on this price war to get talent, they could also find themselves in a point where they can't afford to pay their bills and the whole business actually goes under. That actually then the job you move to, that you got a slight pay rise for, if that whole company goes bust, you can also get punished as well, because then you don't have a job when you're looking again. And it was that element of where, for me personally, stability, does have value as well. And it was just something that I wanted to talk about, because I know a lot of people at the moment are actually considering, should I switch jobs? and what can I get that's out there and what will help you do what's good for you. And for me, it's to look for, what's the job, would it be interesting, and actually is that something you want to do, and is that better than what you're currently doing. I would actually say, who are the leadership, who will you be working for, who are you working with, and are they good, nice people that you can trust? Because actually in every organization you will have good times, bad times, things will go up and down. And actually, if you're working with good people that you like and trust, for me, you'll probably enjoy working there a lot more. Even if maybe you get paid less, it's always better to work around good people that you enjoy being with as well. So my name's Steve. If you catch this on LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook or YouTube, if you drop us a comment, I'd love to say hello as well. If you also check out Roadmap MBA, we're a startup bringing business education and making business education and training accessible to 5 billion people. If you check out roadmapmba.com, you can get a free copy as well.